You know how we're all trying to recycle bottles and cans and cardboard.
Absolutely.
And Michael Reynolds, the famous architect out of New Mexico, makes houses out of unwanted tires, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, there's another bigger module than a tire. It's called a metal shipping container. And so there's all sorts of communities all over the world who've already been making housing out of combining a whole bunch of metal shipping containers together. So you can stack them, you can put them side by side, you can cut holes in them and make like a bigger open space. And the wonderful thing is they're designed to go on these gigantic, go from one continent to the other continent across the big open ocean, and they stack them, 10, 20 high. And so they have these pre-engineered joints in the corners where they have to stack. So like when you go to a port, so cities that have ports and railroads, because railroad cars are the same metal shipping container. So it's internationally standardized with international joints that stack. And so they come in 20 footers, and then they can have a cantilever, so they can cantilever 2 feet and be the 24, the 28 footers, but still the joints are at 20. Or you have the standard 40 that can cantilever 4 feet, and you can have the 48 foot or the 54 footers.
Okay.
But all of them are the same width, and all of them are the same height. And so all these joints stack at modules of 20s and 40s. And so you can go, it's on my website, you can find all these standardized engineering couplings. And so it's a way to get express engineering through the building department. You can just download all this standardized engineering. They're strong.
Wow. Really?
Right? So they're usually in the shipping fleet for a certain period, and everyone has a unique serial number and barcode, and everything it's ever had hauled in it, so you know if it had a toxic material or not. So of course you want the clean ones if you're going to use it for a human building. But some of them come as tanks. You have an instant cistern for liquids. Some of them come as open tops, like when they dump coal or rock or sand in the top. And so, like, depending on what you want to make your little container eco-village out of, like you have an instant cistern, you use one of those.
Wow. Amazing.
Right? So now you can mix and match and stack them on a hillside and cut a few open to make one bigger space. And you can get a really good new one for $2,000 to $2,500. And you can get the damaged ones for a few $100s. Well, if you pre-planned your village and your building, and you already knew you were going to take the plasma cutter and cut a hole out over here, or you were going to cut the roof off of this one to make it twice as high, and you coincidentally found a damaged one that had a dent where you knew you were going to cut it out anyway, right?
You can save some money potentially on the project.
You can save a lot.
That's great.
Yeah. So if you buy they're like 9 by 20, but just for easy math, let's say it's 10 by 20, it's 200 square feet, and you buy it for $2,000, that's $10 a square foot.
You can't beat that.
Well, that's just for the shell. That's not like everything that you normally need. But it's really a deal.
Wow. Amazing.
And normally you can just set them on like a gravel bed. They're so strong you don't even need a foundation under them. But different building officials have different code criteria. But I've met with my structural engineers, and guaranteed it can't fall over in an earthquake. Like, it's strong, it's not going anywhere.
Wow.
Now, as soon as you start cutting holes in them, now you've deviated from all this standard engineered stuff that was designed to have closed containers, stacked for shipping, across the ocean from one continent to the next. But because the engineers have this standard set of values to start with, it's real easy for the part you change to figure out what piece of steel you're going to add back to hold that part up and replace the panel you took out.
Excellent.
And so I think there's like incredible opportunities because there's thousands and millions of them like in every port, like all over the world, that just sit there on the edges of port cities and rail yards that people don't even know what to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like tires.
Right.
Right? So why not take this resource that there's an abundance of them on planet Earth and like build all over the world with them? It's a way to reduce the cost of building
Excellent.
and provide housing.